Good morning and welcome to the NBA Daily for December 12th, 2025. I'm Dave DuFour here with Es Baraheni. Coming up, the Rockets beat the Clippers, but man, it took a long time to finish that game. And Steph Curry's coming back. We're going to talk about his impact on the Warriors. And Jay King is here to talk about the Celtics and how they've been winning, except for last night. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, guys. I love when we book a guest because a team's been hot or doing something interesting, and it's just like
the NBA Daily curse hasn't been going crazy this year, but we unfortunately got one with Jay tonight.
Well, we got the double whammy on the Cup night the other night because we picked both the losers, and hey, we're just rolling the dice out here. Speaking of, all right, look, we watch a ton of basketball every single night, and we've talked about watchability this season, and I don't want to be a guy who's like complaining about refereeing because like it's hard to ref. Reviews are going to happen. But what happened at the end of the Rockets Clippers game last night is just egregious.
It was insane.
These games are already taking forever. That game last night, the final 17 seconds took 17 minutes in real life to finish. They were at 27 seconds left with about 2.5 minutes left in Celtics Bucks, and the press conferences were done by the time that game was over. That
was absurd.
It's crazy.
Man. No, I mean, look, we have one of these every so often that just reminds us about the grueling nature of the end of basketball games. My wife always jokes with me, she'll be like, oh, how much is left in the game? And I'll be like, oh, it's just like a couple minutes. And she'll be like, okay, I'll see you in 25 minutes.
It's NBA time.
It's NBA time, right? And like between reviews and challenges and referees looking over things, the end of games have just become so grueling. And to add to the fact, I know this is something we both hate, fouling up three has made it even more absurd.
Because now I'm going through all this for nothing.
Exactly. Right.
There's no
It's
payoff.
A 3-point game, and there's no incentive for me because I know it's going to come down to free throws. It's going to come down to this battle of like, hey, we have 2 seconds left on the clock. How many timeouts do we have? Instead of it being, hey, we have it's 3 points and we have an opportunity to score here. I think that has to be somehow legislated out of the game. They have to find maybe it's a technical foul. Maybe it's an away from the ball foul, something in order to allow teams to have an opportunity if they're down 3.
Well, there's so many other rules that they're willing to just kind of look beyond or create new versions of to make it more entertaining. And this to me is like the take foul. The take foul was taking away from the entertainment factor of the NBA and really the spirit of the game. That's the other thing is like you're up 3. You should still have to play defense because there's a 3-point shot. And 100%. To win, listen, I understand his strategy and it's smart. Yes, trust me, I know. I'm a coach and we intentionally foul bad free throw shooters all the time. It doesn't mean that that's what I want to watch on television.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with coaches doing it. Like there's absolutely nothing wrong with coaches doing it. It's part of the rules. It's part of what's allowed. You have to have that gained advantage. But I think that's ridiculous. And to your point about the Rockets Clippers game, it was a fun game. It was back and forth. James Harden and Kawhi were making shots. Zubac had a great game.
Amen Thompson had that great putback for the lead.
Absolutely. Steven Adams had an incredible dunk in transition. Like there were a lot of great moments. For that to be ruined by challenges and reviews, it's deflating,
Yeah, it's literally like imagine watching a great movie and the last 20 minutes were just people doing paperwork or something.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not really what we want. Okay. Enough complaining. It was a great game until the last 20 minutes of the game. That was 17 seconds. Okay. Hey, Steph Curry's coming back. Guys, the Warriors could use him, even though they went 3-2 without him. They did beat the Cavs in there, although we kind of feel like the Cavs are a little soft. So maybe that says more about the Cavs than it does the Warriors. But their offense could use him. Obviously, he's one of the greatest ever. How much better is this team when Steph is on the court versus off? I mean, Pat Spencer doing his best Steph Curry impression is still Pat Spencer playing basketball.
Hey, can I tell you guys something? The Warriors are about to have a week off. They last played on Sunday. They're going to play on Friday. They've had 5 days off. And for an old team, that helps a lot. So if we talk about NBA Cup scheduling, by the way, it helps tremendously that there's a 5-day break for one of the oldest teams in basketball right now. And to your point about Steph Curry, yeah, it's great to have him back because the Warriors offense craters without him. They've been playing fine without him and beating the competition that they're supposed to. You mentioned the Cavs game, which was atrocious from the Cavs perspective, but they're 10 points per 100 possessions better on offense with Steph Curry on the floor this season. And that includes games where he hasn't played. He's huge for what they do. We don't have to debate that in any sort of way. Their ceiling is so much higher when he is there and on the floor and knocking down shots and doing the Steph Curry things we've seen him do for a decade plus now. The question moving forward is like, all right, are they going to get anything out of these other guys on a night-to-night basis to give Steph a chance to actually be at the height of his powers come playoff time? I mean, everybody's going to talk about Kuminga, whether they'll trade him, which seems like
pretty
a foregone conclusion.
Yeah,
exactly. Seems like a foregone conclusion at this point. What kind of upgrade are you looking for? Kobe White? Is it a big man? Is it somewhere else? I feel like you got to give this Warriors team and Steph Curry a little bit more of a chance than it currently has in the Western Conference.
Yeah. Guys, before we go to the break, don't forget you can join our Discord. It's in the show notes if you're listening on the pod, or it's in the description.
Come hang out.
If you're watching us on YouTube, come hang out. You know, we're trying to spend a little bit more time there. And if you're going to be in Vegas for the NBA Cup, say hi. Reach out, say what's up. Guys, stick around. After the break, we got Jay King to talk about the Celtics. And I asked him if Jayson Tatum's coming back. The Boston Celtics have kind of surprised us the last few weeks. They've been way more competitive this season than I think anybody expected, mostly because we really thought they were going to try to get under the tax and maybe tank this season, but they're too good to tank. And Jayson Tatum might come back. And Jay King covers the Celtics for us.
Jay, the third Jay in Boston.
That's right.
The first Jay.
The most important Jay. Yes, Jay. Jay, you know, when we were getting you on the show, I assumed going to play the Bucks without Giannis, that the Celtics, who had kind of figured out this identity this season and really was on a nice little roll, were going to go in and handle business, but they ran into Kyle Kuzma and Bobby Portis. Come on, man.
They got Bobby Portis, man. It was an incredible display by him. He can just touch God every once in a while, and that's what he did. Celtics missed 16 straight threes. When the announcers are bringing up the Houston Rockets streak of 27 straight misses during the game, you know that's not great.
It's not good.
And when that happens, you're gonna have some tough nights. But it wasn't just Porter. Like Kevin Porter Jr. was hitting some tough shots. Yeah. Kyle Kuzma was getting whatever he wanted. That was a problem. So as many shots as the Celtics missed, I think what really doomed them was their defense. They weren't able to get Portis and Kuzma and those guys out of rhythm.
Yeah, this Celtics team has been so fun to watch offensively this year, especially over the last like 2 or 3 weeks where they've just been dominant. Do you think, you know, I guess for the last couple of seasons, we've talked about how hot shooting can help the Celtics. And then when they're cold, it's like a completely different team. Is that still the case with this version of the Celtics?
So they've made some changes to their playing style that have helped them sort of avoid some of the lulls they used to have. Like number one, even without Jayson Tatum, even without several other former All-Stars that they lost over the offseason, they still rank first in taking care of the ball. So that's a huge deal for them. That helps them win the possession game. But the second big shift they've gone through is they now crash the glass at a very high rate. They rank 7th in offensive rebounding. Early in the season, very early in the season, they were shooting extremely poorly. And their offense was still in the top 10. And it was largely because they were able to win the possession game. And they've just kind of done that a little differently. They used to be like extremely efficient and as shooters, and they used to be able to get to the rim, draw more free throws. Now it's like Jaylen Brown and Peyton Pritchard from the mid-range. It's everybody else from 3. It's Jordan Walsh and Neemias Queta and Josh Minot getting to the rim sometimes, playing off other guys. And so, you know, I think their offense isn't totally reliant on the 3-point shot, even though obviously it's it's a big deal to them. And they have lost some layers of their offense. Like they used to post up as much as just about anybody. They don't post up at all anymore. Like never, ever. And so they're very reliant on jump shots, but because they do take care of the ball and because they do crash the glass the way they do, they're able to produce enough possessions that even when they go cold, they're able to score.
Yeah, I mean, but it's smart. They don't have any
Except
guys
tonight,
who are
against the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Then they didn't score at all.
It's smart for them to go away from post-ups. They don't have guys who are good at it, right? Like this is actually, I think Mazzulla is doing a really good job of coaching this team because of the changes that he's made. It's similar, like looks like Miami, right? Like Miami, they don't have any good pick and roll ball handlers. Okay, cool. We're not going to run any pick and roll, and just put your guys in a position to succeed. On the broadcast, I was listening. I love when you get to cherry pick stats. Jaylen Brown's one of 3 players in the league averaging 29 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, right? It's him, Luka, and Jokic. I mean, these are like obviously 3 guys in the same tier. What do you think about Jaylen Brown, like the season he's having? Did you feel like he could be this kind of lead guard, without a secondary guy like Tatum out there?
Yeah. So the one thing I harped on over the offseason after Tatum got hurt on my podcast, Still Potable, is Dave told me to do that.
Nice
Dave
plug. No, it's worthy.
It was like, to make it a bit, keep referencing Still Potable. So I had to try to make him laugh.
You let the bit not be a bit anymore by letting it. Yeah.
Well, anyway, on my podcast, Still Potable, I kept saying that when Jayson Tatum was not on the court last season, so all the minutes with Jayson Tatum on the bench, Jaylen averaged almost 10 assists per 100 possessions. Mm-hmm. And so he was able to reach another level of playmaking. He was able to reach another level of productivity when Tatum sat. And non-Tatum minutes used to be a huge issue, partly because of how much talent they had around him, but partly also because Jaylen has just developed immensely as a playmaker and an all-around player throughout the years. The non-Tatum minutes went really well. Mm-hmm. And so I knew he would be capable of having a very good season. I knew that when everybody was healthy, as they have been for most of the season, they would be competitive. The part that's been super impressive to me hasn't just been the playmaking and the all-around play. He's like Dirk Nowitzki and Kevin Durant from mid-range.
It's insane. What happened, man?
And
it really is
insane. An insane diet of shots. It's like these are not open shots that he's taking. It's crossover right, crossover left, step back, contested, schwap, and it's just been super impressive. The shot making that he's had this season has been ridiculous, and it's been super consistent. And I don't know if it's sustainable, but it's really been a display of shooting so far this season for Jaylen Brown.
Can you just do that sound effect again?
Schwap.
Yep, we're gonna make that a drop on the show for sure.
Yes, absolutely. Look, another guy who's had some pretty great development for you guys this season has been Jordan Walsh, who I think has developed a lot on the offensive end. I mean, Austin Reeves called him one of the best defenders in the league, and how he has the potential to do that. He obviously had the defensive potential always in his career. It was about figuring out the offensive side of the ball. What have you seen from Jordan Walsh, who's been a pretty good surprise for you guys?
Yeah, it's just, I mean, at the start of the season, it looked like every other young wing they had jumped him. Josh Minot was getting chances. Baylor Shireman was getting chances. Hugo Gonzalez was getting chances. And Jordan Walsh was sitting on the bench doing nothing. And then he got his chance, and he was just ready for it. And like you said, he has all the defensive tools you'd want. He's super long wingspan. He's 6'7", 6'8", whatever he is. It's just, he's grown up and he's matured, and he's realized, like, you need to be super in tune with the details if you're going to guard the best players in the NBA on a nightly basis. And he's done that. Like, the discipline that he's shown defensively has been super high. He's getting deflections. He's getting steals. He's racking up blocks. And offensively, it's just like he's trusting his game. And his shot is falling. I don't know if it will continue to fall the way it has from outside. But everything else, he's crashing the glass. He's getting putbacks. He's finishing in transition. He's been able to get a few garbage buckets per game just by working and being in the right spots. And so if he can do that stuff with the defense that he's shown, and he's also rebounding at a high level on both ends, which is super important to this team because they can get crushed on the defensive glass. Mm-hmm. It's just been, I mean, he's totally changed the trajectory of his career over the last month. And
he's
obviously
making threes too.
It's not just the last month where he's done that. It's been the work over the last few years.
The slow build of that.
But he went from looking like a guy who might never get a chance because the other young guys had passed him to, oh, wow. Like Austin Reeves just said he's going to be one of the best defensive players in the league for a long time. And I don't know if
Austin Reeves is the greatest judge of defense, but you know, I
he's
appreciate
not the
compliment.
Defender.
Exactly.
Judge of defense might be different.
I don't know. Just,
I couldn't dunk, but I could judge a dunk contest.
There you go. Jay, okay. Speaking of judging, look, I've seen your box scores, okay? Not the one where you guys played against the Celtics coaches. I didn't see that one. But I've seen the box scores. You know ball, you play. Could you do me a favor and just give me like a breakdown of the Jayson Tatum pickup footage, the one-on-one footage that we all watched in slow motion? Not the defense, because obviously it's non-contact. You know, like they're just trying to let this guy break a sweat. But what'd you think about how Jayson Tatum looked?
It's just pretty impressive to me. You know, I think tomorrow is 7 months from his surgery.
Crazy.
And he's already playing one-on-one. It's not just that he's out there playing, like his change of direction looked pretty good. Yep. He was shooting step backs to the side of the injured Achilles. He was like shooting one-legged fadeaway jumpers, and all that stuff is a good sign for the Celtics. I don't know if he'll return this season. I suspect, based on how well he's progressed, all the positive feedback that has been given so far, that he has a real chance to do so. And you know, obviously they're in the mix in the Eastern Conference.
Dominique Wilkins came back in 9 months. And listen, I think I heard that somewhere. I read it.
The technology is also advanced since the 90s.
I mean, maybe, yes, I know. And the surgery has changed, but this is not necessarily unprecedented for him to come back in this short amount of time to the NBA. And Dominique Wilkins was pretty good when he came back, actually, that first season. If he comes back, okay, let's just, I want to live in that world for a minute. How much, like, where do you put them in the East compared to now? Like right now, they're kind of in the middle, right? Like 4th, 5th, in the middle of the playoff race, I'll say. Because I think that they're a better team than most people realize. But if Jayson Tatum comes back and he's like 75, 80%, like we're not expecting all NBA Jayson Tatum right away. I mean, what happens to this team? Like, what does it look like?
So it's really hard for me to discuss this because on one hand is like, the vision of Jayson Tatum, right? And what he's been, which is first team All-NBA the last 4 years, 5 years, whatever it is, and do everything guy who can guard centers, who can play point guard, who can score from all over the court, who's become a top level playmaker for a guy his size. And if you put that Jayson Tatum on this Celtics team, they're a force in the Eastern Conference. But why it's hard for me to talk about it is like, it's really hard for me to envision him being ready to play at that level so quickly after an Achilles. And so then you start thinking about like, okay, so what is he going to be able to do? And to me, in this era of basketball, it is so hard to play and to keep up if you're not at top speed. Like the pace is so fast. Everybody's picking up full court. There's so much you have to do on any given possession. And so for that reason, like I don't think they'll have a chance to win the East, even if he does come back. That said, like who knows? It's been, 7 months of good news ever since the injury happened, and he's super diligent. And as far as taking care of his body, even long before this injury happened, he's one of the guys who puts a ton of care into his body, who does every single thing right, who thinks about every single detail. And I'm sure that he's taken that sort of care throughout the rehab process. So if anybody has a chance to come back and be ready to make an impact somewhat soon after returning, it's a guy like him with his physical characteristics, who's 6'10" and can really shoot and doesn't necessarily need that high end athleticism, and who also keeps himself in great shape. And
he's doing those 5:30 a.m. workouts, right?
Every single way. Yeah. He took his trainer with him when he would go to he went to Kemba Walker's wedding for one example, and he took his trainer with him and they worked out the day of the wedding.
Is he working out in the airport? Is he going to be one of these guys doing pull-ups in the airport in a suit?
Yeah. I'm sure he's doing
that's
his
a good call, actually.
Yeah. I actually think that's a great idea to have workouts in an airport.
I agree.
I love to sit in a small confined space with someone who's sweating. Every time I have a layover, I'm like, profusely.
You know what? Everybody at the airport just goes and sits at the bar and drinks.
Well, take a walk.
But it's just a culture of sitting and drinking. We need to break the culture.
I agree with you.
Put some gyms in there. Give me a fitness center. Let me work out during my layover.
If you're going to do gyms, just do showers.
Yeah,
do showers.
Sure.
Gotta have showers.
Yeah, you gotta have showers.
Well, listen, no one said anything about a plan for showers. They only showed the pull-up. Well, no one did any pull-ups there, but they showed the pull-up bar. No showers were mentioned.
You do the pull-up bar, you do the whole outdoor gym thing, and then you add the showers. That's exactly what you do.
It's going to be a water
workout plan.
I'm down, man. Look, Jay, I got to ask you, because obviously with or without Tatum, and by the way, I think start of March, if he comes back, is very different than him coming back end of March. That's a month of him warming up and getting into full speed until playoffs. But this team obviously still has a chance to do some damage in the Eastern Conference, and they probably are going to be active at the trade deadline because they want to get under the tax. They have Anthony Simons' expiring salary. What do you think they do in the trade market? Because December 15 is coming up. Do you think they end up buying, or do they sell and try to figure things out the other way?
So, perfect world, they would try to do both.
Okay.
Right? And use somebody like, let's say, Anthony Simons' contract to go out and get an area of need, let's say big man, because no matter how well Keita has played and no matter how well the small ball lineups have looked behind him, you're going to need another center at some point who's capable of playing in a playoff series and playing well in a playoff series.
Anybody come to mind?
Zubats is one of them. I think the Lively situation might change Dallas's outlook, but when you look at the Maverick, they have just a bunch of big men, a bunch of centers who.
Yeah, Gafford would be interesting for you guys too, right?
Yeah. So a perfect world, they go after a guy like that, and then you're also able to shed $12 million in salary to get under the luxury tax. And Zubats, I think, makes 19 million, 18 or 19, and Simons makes 27. So maybe you could get there if you do the trade, a certain way.
Yeah, you got to add picks to that though to go.
Yes, absolutely. Right. You would have to add plenty of picks. But the Celtics, they do have young talent now that they can also offer. Some of these young wings, whether it's Walsh, Minot, Hugo Gonzalez. Those guys look like they're real players, and to be that age and real players normally makes you pretty valuable. But that I think that would be a perfect world.
Finding a center,
but beyond that is do they try to get under the luxury tax? Do they try to start resetting the repeater tax? That would mean being under the luxury tax for 2 straight years. I think before they were this good, it was probably an easier, it'd be great to get out of the luxury tax and reset the repeater tax. And now it's you know what? Can't really sacrifice 2 years because this team, if it's not good enough to win this year, should be good enough to win next year once Tatum is back closer to full strength. So,
I'd have no faith in the rest of the East.
Yeah, that's another thing.
It's so weak, and you don't know where Giannis is going to be next season.
Yep.
Again, every single team in the East should be just trying. Let's take a swing. on Giannis or whoever. All right, guys, go and read Jay over at The Athletic. Thank you, Jay, for hanging out. Appreciate you. For Jay King and Es Baraheni, I'm Dave DuFour, and this has been the NBA Daily. Thanks for waking up with us.